guys, it's Yvette, and I am starting with the Winter Flurries Mystery Quilt by Fort Worth Fabric Studio. And I have made all the cuts per the cutting instructions that we received. And apologies for everything being late. I just probably wrongly assumed that I was going to get an email that told me when like each week and everything was available, because that's how it was done for the Boo to You quilt. But they didn't do that this time, and that's cool beans. I should have known, and I should have just gone to look, because I knew it was going to start sometime in mid-July. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is crazy. Mid-October. Do you think that the time is flying for me or what? So anyway, it did start a couple weeks ago. I'm a couple weeks behind, and we're going to be getting our third week patterns on Wednesday, and I'm just letting you guys know now that I will not be working for Halloween. My husband is going to be out of town, so I will be doing all of the kids for trick-or-treating by myself, and I'm just going to sort of take the night off and have fun with that. So, okay, so I'm kind of playing a little bit of catch-up again, and these are all the cuts that we had to make, and I have labeled all of them. I have used my alphabeties to put all of the letters on everything that we're going to need. So now I'm going to start with the week 1, and the week 1 says that we are going to use G. Oops, you're not even seeing that. Okay, hold up. Alright, I'll put it right here. We're going to use G, B, and M. Where's M? M. Wow, that's it. Okay, this may go quicker than I thought. Alright, so I'm going to take everything else. I'm just going to sort of scooch it back. So let me just kind of do that and kind of try to keep it in order best I can. Just as best I can. I'm not going to go all crazy with it. As long as I can scooch it over so that I can play with everything that I need to play with, I think we'll be fine. There's that. Okay, and these are the ones we're going to be using right now. So let me just kind of scooch those out. Okay, so for the block assembly, it says take the G square and 2 M triangles. All right. So I'm going to take 2 of these. Okay, so basically, this is what I'm doing. If I can get 2 of these off of here, that'd be awesome. Okay, and we're going to put them to top and bottom. And it says you're going to find the center of the triangle by folding it in half and finger pressing, and line up the center of your M triangle and your G square. Okay. And then you're going to sew them onto the G. Okay, so here's G. And I don't remember what the size was. Let's see. This is, oh good, it's 3.5. Why couldn't it have been easy? Okay, you know what? I'm folding that in half too. Alright, so I'm just going to fold this in half so I can kind of finger press it. And I'm going to fold one of these in half. Alright, and then I'll take those, and they're together. I should have finger pressed it the other way. I'm using my light so I can see. I'm sure it doesn't have to be like absolutely perfectamundo, but y'all know how I am. Alright, so that's pretty much where it'll go. And let me get, what do I want to use? Where did I put everything? Let me pick one of these. I'm just going to take one pen and put it in there. And then, I didn't do it on that side. Let me kind of do this a little bit, kind of do it on the other side. So I can sort of know where that is. Alright, let me do it with this one. And it's going to go like that. Oh, nope, it's going to go like that. I'm going to flip it over. Let me stick it right in there, because actually I did that one, folded that one better. Folded it the right way. Okay, now, and I'll actually probably put at least one more pin because it's sort of moving around. But of course I'm going to mark my 1/4 inch, my scant 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to do this with everything from now on. Whether it tells me scant or not, I'm scanting everything. So I put the line for the 1/4 inch just to the outside of the fabric. I'm just going to mark on each side. I can carry it across. It's no big deal. Okay, and the other side. And I figure it probably is better for any square whenever you're piecing like this. At least that's what I'm learning. It's better if your square is bigger than it should be than smaller. So I'm scanting everything. Alright. So now, just so that it doesn't move, I'm going to put one more pin on each side, because it does tend to sort of scooch just a little bit if you don't, you know, pin it. And the funny thing is, I actually prefer to use the Wonder Clips, but I don't know, these things are so light. I went to carry one over the other day, and it was like, it felt like the Wonder Clips were all flying all over. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew on those lines. So I'll meet you in a sec. Okay guys, so I am here and I am going to sew these 2 lines and we'll be moving on to the next step. This is so easy. I'm so happy. So I thought being behind that it was going to I was going to take forever. I'm very happy about step 1. Week 1 doesn't look all that bad either. So while we're sewing this, I can tell you that we went pick our pumpkins today, which was a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun, but this year we're a little bit late. We usually go a little bit earlier in October to get our pumpkins, and I think this is probably like the last weekend that they were selling the pumpkins. Oops, sorry. And so we got there and we went and we picked all our pumpkins, and we were going to check out and pay for them, and they were having this special, I guess because it's the last weekend, they're trying to sell everything, where you could get all the pumpkins you could carry for $39. And I mean, we always just get 2. I guess we, you know, Jim and I were saying we probably should have like tried to go get more. But I have a video of him carrying the pumpkins over to the table. I mean, they didn't make you go very far or anything, but that was a lot of fun. And so we got pumpkins, and we got corn, and we got little baby pumpkins, and we always just put them at the front of, like on our front step, to just sort of decorate for fall. And we just leave them out there until they've lived their full life and they're done. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just completely anal retentive, and I don't know why I bothered to do that right now when I'm filming. Don't ask, guys. Anyway, I have finished this little block, or the first 2 pieces. I'm going to go over to the ironing board. I'm going to iron those out, and then we'll add the next pieces. And I'll see you right back here as soon as I have those added on. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to do it the same way, where we just fold them in half, and then, you know, half on the square and half on the triangle, and then we just sew them on. Yeah, so I can't wait. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I am now going to sew these 2 lines, and let's get started. Okay, so I have this all stitched up. I'm going to take it over and press it out, and then I'll bring you with me over to the cutting mat, because I do have to trim down the squares, and I am really not all that great at that either, so we'll kind of wing that together, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I am back, and what I did was a quick little search on YouTube for a tutorial on how to square up a block. And the one that I found, or I found one that I think I kind of like, so let's give that a go. Here is my finished block, or not finished, but I've pressed out all the triangles, and we're now ready to trim this. They want us to trim it to 4 5/8. I don't know why they pick numbers like that, but they do. And they're just trying to challenge us, I suppose. Okay, so what I did was I took some washi tape. For those of you guys who don't ever know what I do with washi tape, oops. Is that better? Well, I'm gonna have some glare because I got big bright lights here. But anyway, what I did was I took washi tape and I marked at 4 5/8. I put, so on the inside, obviously, that's my square. And then I sort of made a little spot right here, which is the center of the square. And so I know that the center of my square needs to be there. You're just going to eyeball it. That's what the woman did on the video. So I suppose that's what I'll do. So you put your square down, and you want to try to put the... yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to work, guys. I'm really terrible at this, but they want the center to be sort of marked. I don't even, let's see. Let me try this. Let me do, if I fold that over. Okay, and I'm going to sort of put a little line there, and I'm going to fold it the other way. I'm just using my fingernail to kind of score it a little bit, and I'll have to iron that back down after we're done. And I know you're probably not even able to see what I'm doing. But now I sort of can see, and it's black fabric, so it's making it even worse, but I can sort of see where the middle is. So I'm going to take, oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Okay. Yeah, if I could make that any more difficult, that would be awesome. I don't know. First of all, how big is this thing? It's 5 inches. Okay, that's 5 inches. And that's almost 5 inches. Okay, so I do have something to cut off. Alright, so I know that 2 2 1/2 is halfway across 4 5/8. Okay, so I just put on top, let me see, 2 and 2.5, and I sort of put it where I just kind of eyeballing where the middle is. So if that's 1, 2, 1, 2, that's sort of halfway. And then if I go 1, 2, and 2.5, so that'll come down a little. This is terrible. 1, 2, 2.5. I mean, seriously, I'm like eyeballing this. Okay. I mean, it looks good to me. And I can see that I have fabric to cut off beyond the yellow. Because what you want to do is, once you sort of find that center piece, okay, and you have it there. Now, there are some tips that they give us that if you have a seam line that's across or pretty close to one of these lines, then you should try to make sure that that is, that you're even on that line, or the same distance on that line all the way across. We don't have anything like that. Another thing you could do is you could use this diagonal line. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on, let me turn off the sound on my phone. And we don't have a diagonal line either. So that's why I'm sort of resorting to just eyeballing everything. Okay, so that's 1/4. It's actually not even 1/4. What I want to also do, and here's another thing, whenever you're measuring, I like to measure 100 times before I cut once, is you have these 1/4 inch lines on your ruler. You do not want the green part of your, because this green square in the middle, you do not want any of that part, in my mind, to be inside that 1/4 inch, because we're going to be sewing a 1/4 inch of anything. And if you have, if your 1/4 inch goes into the green part, then you're not going to have a point once you make that stitch. So I'm just going to, because I can see that over here that the 1/4 inch line, well, wait, hold up. No, they're all too small. This doesn't make any sense. That's my 1/4. Actually, they all do it not exactly the same size, but because that one goes into it, this one goes into it. I guess I'm just going to have to really do that scant, because I am at, I wonder if because what I'm seeing in here is what's going to be left after the 4 5/8, right? So no matter what, I would be cutting into some of that. This makes me nervous, guys, because I'm trying to get better at piecing. And I don't know. Alright, I'm just going to do it, right? Everything else I have to learn somehow, so let's just go for it. That's the first one. Oh, you're not seeing anything. Sorry about that. That's the second one. I'm going to pull that away. Alright, now I'm going to flip it around. And I'm going, now all I have to do is put my yellow lines exactly on the spot. Right? Looks good. And it's all doing the exact same thing, so I'm just not gonna worry about it. What's that? No, I think it needs to come down a little. You guys, this is what it's like sewing with me. Horrible. I worry too much. Or at least at this point, because my poor little Boo-to-You came out horrible. Well, in two spots. Two spots came out horrible, in my opinion. Okay, so now I have squared that to 4 5/8. And I'm going to just, I don't know why, I guess I want to torture myself, but let me just, where's the, don't I have a smaller ruler somewhere? Yeah. Alright. 4 5/8. And 4 5/8. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. So, now I have this piece, and the next instruction, hold up. Next instruction is for me to, these are my B triangles, okay, and I'm going to do the same as I did with the white ones, except we're going to go this way now, of course. So I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to fold this in half to find the center. I'm probably not showing you anything. I'm terrible. Okay, and I know where the center is because I'm just going to go to the point. So there's that point, and I'm going to flip that over so they are right sides together. And there is where I'm going to put that. And instead of pinning first, I'm just going to make my 1/4 inch or scant 1/4 inch mark. Did I move it? I don't think so. Okay. I'm gonna make my mark. Okay. Once I have the mark, I'm just going to put a few pins just to hold it exactly where I want it. That looks good. Okay, now I'm going to take another one. I'm going to go and find the halfway point. And I'm going to figure out where that is. I'm hoping I'm not blocking everything and you guys can see, or roughly see. And I'm going to just slide that down. Alright, I'll mark. I could probably mark before I do this. I'm not really being very smart about this, am I? Why, this is very quiet, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to take this, oops, just poked myself with a needle. I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and we're going to sew those up. And then I'm going to press them out and come in and do the same thing with these two on the other side. We're almost done, so let's get going. Okay, so now I'm back. I'm going to sew these 2 seam lines, and here we go. Okay, so here is the block. Right now I'm going to go and press these out and then add the other 2 and come right back to stitch. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've pressed these sides out. I have found the center of my triangles and attached them to the square, and now I'm going to sew down the 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I've finished sewing those up. I'm going to go and press this out, and then we have to trim this down, I think to 6-inch square. I'm going to double check that, and I'll meet you over at the cutting mat. Okay guys, so I have pressed out all of the seams, and I have marked my ruler at 6.5, because it's 6.5, not 6. Oh, darn. I marked it at 6. And it's supposed to be 6.5. Okay, well, now you get to watch me do that again. Oh gosh, here I was thinking I was saving so much time. It's going to have everything ready. So as you guys can see, I use washi tape because it comes right off and doesn't do anything to your ruler. It comes right off. Doesn't stick. I mean, you could also use like blue painter's tape if you don't have washi tape. Does the exact same thing. So let me just move that for a second. And I'm trying to put it on the back this time instead of the front. And I guess I could, what should I do? Should I do like a 6.5 line? I'm going to try to do that. Because if I do 6.5, 6.5, okay. So here's the 6.5. And I know you cannot see a darn thing right now. Hold up. Okay. And then I'm just going to put my washi tape right on the 6.5 inch line. Just makes it easier so that whenever you are putting it on top of your fabric, you could just go your eyes will go right to where the line is instead of having to really look for it every single time. You know what I mean? I find it easier. And if you're making a lot of cuts that are the same size, this is really great to do to your ruler as well, because like I said, your eye will go straight to where this line is, and then you know, it just makes it quicker. You're not looking for the measurement every single time. And so half of 6.5 is 3 1/4. So let me try to do. Okay, so if that is, I can just barely see it. If that is 3 1/2, that means I just need to go up 1/4 right here. I'm just trying to mark where the center is. And 3 1/4 will be right there, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now I've redone it. And you guys have been able to see that I have, sorry about the glare, that I have marked the 6.5 inch and also the 3 1/4, which is right in the center. So I'll flip it over, and now you can see that everything's there. And let me put my fabric back here. And again, I'm going to try to just eyeball where the center is for all of this. And what I'm using is the 3.5 inch mark, and I'm trying to put it right at the points of the white. Makes it a little bit difficult when I can't even think. When maybe your half or quarter inch mark doesn't come all the way, but there is a white mark, so I'm looking at that as well. All right. Oh, yes. There's a 3 1/4. Looks perfect. That 3 1/4 looks perfect. That 3 1/4 is off a little bit. Oops, that went off. You guys don't try to be as perfectionist as me. Honestly, it's really not fun. Okay, so that's the 6 1/2. Here's my rotary cutter. Sorry you can't see. Okay. And then I can flip this around. Okay. Trying to put it in a good spot for y'all to see. And now I'm just going to line this and this up to my exact 6 1/2 measurement. Because I've already done everything else, I don't have to do it again. And then once that's in the correct spot, and actually I want to just look at that one more time. That's 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/4. Okay, looks good. Okay, so now, here we are. Terrible lighting, but there is my finished 6 1/2 inch square for week 1 of the Winter Flurries mystery quilt for Fort Worth Fabric Studio. I will be back to show you guys how to do week 2. See you then.